Hello and welcome to a Talking Tour episode. Today I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by.
Hayden.
And today we're going to be talking about the TMNT 2012 Season 1 Episode 22, I want to say, The Pulverizer Returns. And I got a feeling that this is going to be another really negative episode. So, what did you think about this episode briefly?
Well, what can I say, Teddy? This episode was it was all right. It was good, but disappointing, as I would say.
Yeah, to say that this episode was. It's not necessarily bad, and it was like a letdown compared to the previous episodes, because the last few episodes have just been amazing. I think going to this one, it's just like, oh, it's a bit of a letdown. But I would say it is slightly better than the first Pulverized episode. But I think that's about it, really, if I can really praise it on. But yeah. Okay, so first start the episode off with the turtles finding the Foot Clan and realising they're too good, and then that's when we go and see Shredder, and he's beating up Dog Pound, and that's when he has the idea to create some mutants. What do you think of this scene?
This scene was it was all right. This scene was actually all right. I loved how Shredder was just abusing the hell out of Dog Pound as per usual. Like Dog Pound he's really in the doghouse. He's really in the doghouse at the moment. And with Shredder, and it was just really funny just to see him just be. I know this sounds kind of mean, but he's just being. I just loved how he's just being abused by Shredder all the time. He's just like, you are failing in this, this, and this. Like, this is terrible. I can't believe I raised such a complete utter waste. That's all right. That sort of stuff. And of course we saw the little Krang from a previous episode. The little Krang. He's chained up in a Krang body, but I don't see the reason why he would need to be chained up exactly, because one, he has no arms and he has no legs. So, but yeah, it was an all right scene to watch.
What did you think of the Turtles versus the Foot Clan fight?
Ah, that to be honest, it was all right. The fight scene was all right. However, I believe the dialogue of that scene could be portrayed a bit better, as in like they're getting really complacent with the dialogue, and like they're
Yeah.
being really complacent. It's like, oh, this is too easy, and it wasn't up to my bestest standards, if you understand. Like, it was very
Yeah, it's just like
complacent. It
very
was
basic.
very basic, very samey, but
Mm.
yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I'll say that the Turtles vs. the Foot fight, I really did enjoy it quite a little bit. I mean, I know that we had Turtles vs. Foot fight a few episodes ago, but for some reason, to me, while I was watching the episode, it felt like it's been quite a while, but I don't know if that's just because we've been watching one episode a week. Um, so yeah, it did feel like it has been like quite a while, so I did quite enjoy it quite a bit. And then I did really enjoy when Donnie found the coins, and I really did like the Mario type sound. I don't know if you picked up on that. I just thought that was amazing
Oh
little
yeah, I
reference put
heard
in there.
that. I was like, isn't that Mario? And yeah, I went back and watched it, and it was.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with it. I'm pretty sure there are like maybe another sound they put in there. For an episode that was like another game one. I'm not too sure what game it was, but it reminded me of something. I don't know what it was. But with the Shredder being up Dog Pound, I like Dog Pound being terrified. I'm not exactly too sure why, but yeah. um, so yeah, after that, after the intro, we have the turtles just looking in on TCRI and spying, but that's when they realise that there's an extra foot soldier, and it's the Pulverizer. How long did it take you to realise that that foot soldier was the Pulverizer?
Instantaneously.
Okay. Well, in that case, what do you think about that? What do you think about that scene?
Well, that specific scene, it was going good so far. The turtles are staking out at the TCRI building, nothing going on. And then, of course, out of the blue, you see this little guy. in a black Foot Clan outfit, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute, who's this guy? Why does he look so familiar? And then, of course, I immediately remembered the name of this episode, The Pulverizer Returns, and I'm just sitting there to myself as oh, please no. Please, not the Pulverizer. As if anyone had watched the previous episodes with the Pulverizer in, you just know that me and Teddy here, we're not huge fans of the Pulverizer, let's just say that, but of course, once I saw him, I'm thinking, oh my god, is it him? Is it the Pulverizer? But yeah, of course, the turtles go down to check him out, and then of course there was an ambush. They fight off the Foot Clan with pretty much with ease again, and of course, just seeing them fight. And I just want to quickly state here, we haven't seen much of the turtles except for this episode, except for like the first previous episodes and vice versa. With the Foot Clan, like the actual turtles fighting the Foot Clan in large groups again, that was nice to see. Just seeing them fight the Foot Clan in large in not herds, that's animals. Large
Groups.
groups again. Yep, that's the one. And large groups again, so that was kind of nice. But then, of course, when when Pulverizer comes up, and then we realise that he has joined the Foot. Just let that sink in for a sec. He's joined the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
I was pretty speechless about this scene, but what did you think of this, Teddy?
So for me, with realizing it was Pulverizer, when I was a kid, the first time I watched it, the episode name didn't really kick in to me until after he revealed himself. But I must admit, looking at this episode now, with a more developed mind, um, I you could definitely tell that it was him straight away, just even without not even knowing the episode or episode title. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy the second fight that much. It just felt as though it was very quick. Like each time got one little scene where they got hit their character or the two foot soldiers, and the way that they shot the scene, it was okay, but I don't think it was anything impressive, and didn't really give the turtles too much like room for them to really like shine in their own unique way. But and then when Pulverizer reveals himself, why is he still wearing his costume? That's the only thing which I'm questioning about it. I can understand him joining the Foot Clan. He's stupid enough to do that, but why is he wearing the costume?
That's what I was going to say. Why is he wearing his costume from the last episode? I don't get it.
I think it might be like because of the character rig and all that. Um, and then also he says that he also said that he was wondering when we'd meet up again and all that. I don't think anyone was wondering or was hoping that Pulverizer would return.
Yeah.
I know you definitely wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so going into the next scene, we've got Monster to attend the Turtles that to use switch weapons because all of them are way too good for fighting. So then they have a little like sparring section, but it goes wrong. What do you think of this scene?
This was actually a very drastic change for the Turtles, and of course for me as well, because I've been so used so far for the Turtles using the exact same iconic weapons that they've had for for the entirety of the series so far that I've watched, and just seeing them change around the weapons, that was actually quite a nice change of pace for once, if you understand where I'm coming from. Like just seeing
Yeah,
them try their different skills, their versatility as ninjas, and of course as brothers trying to figure out how the hell they can fight with other weapons of their own. It was actually really nice to see how they can change so rapidly and quickly. But of course, sadly, the turtles failed in that remark until later on in the episode. But yeah, it was a really cool change to see how they how they switched their weapons for once. And this is like the first time I'm experiencing this firsthand. Like, oh my gosh, like you never see the turtles without their weapons, and it was just
Mm.
so weird.
Okay, so next question I have for this little scene, because they all change their weapons, which weapon would you choose, or do you think will be good at fighting with?
Ooh, ooh, that is a good question. I didn't think about that for a sec. I think I would have to go with Donatello's staff.
Okay, why?
Well, one, it's not sharp, so I can't accidentally stab myself with it.
Okay,
Um, two, it's sure it's wooden, but in this remark, I kind of see it as the sword is mightier than the pen, if you understand. I mean, the pen is mightier than the sword. Sorry, just thinking how I could use the weapon as like a shield, and of course I know you can use the other weapons as shield, but Donnie's staff is a much more simple weapon to master, and of course it's got hidden blades within it, which is very deceptive, and I love the secrecy and deceptiveness. So if I was in like a tight situation, I had the back against my wall, and of course I have the staff, they would think, oh, it's just a wooden staff, we can get through that easily. But no, guess what? Out comes the hidden blade, swoosh, out it comes, and then I'm ready to go. The deception, it takes them off guard.
okay. I mean, if I was in that situation, I would either go for nunchuck or the sword, just because I feel as though those are the easiest weapons to like master. I mean, the side I would say that's probably really hard and more or less useless, really. The stick or the bow staff, I'd say is quite hard to master, really, because I mean, there's not really too much you can really do with the stick. I'd say it's more of you'll be better like investing your time in using your hands and feet. Um, but yeah, so with this scene, I thought that Mikey had a really good impersonation or impression of Leonardo. I thought that was really good. But with the actual whole episode revolving around this whole story that Spinner is taking away, ask them to swap the weapons. I would say it's like a very cliche type story. Just because I know that because I feel like this is like one of those type of stories that you would normally see in like a team type show, from across all different versions of like or like franchises where like the team needs to adapt and learn each other's moves and weaknesses and strengths and all that. And for me, it's always felt like a really cliche type story. And I would say for I do think for the most part for this show does do or this episode does do it justice in a way where it tries to be unique, and I do think it may fail a little bit because of Pulverizer, but still I know I enjoy the story with this, but I do feel as though it's like a very cliche type story to do with the whole weapon swapping and stuff like that. I mean, they are ninjas and they should be known and are known to like use different weapons, so I'm not too sure why this is such a like a big like shock to them that like how they don't know how to use their weapons and all that. I mean, some of the weapons which they did were using, such as like Johnny using the size of he was you can tell that I was trying to make it as though they themselves really didn't know what they're doing, but with some of the positions that Johnny had the size, you could tell that like he would know how to use them, and then hopefully you do understand my point here.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
But yeah, afterwards, Johnny does get a message about the from the pulverizer. And first off, how does the pulverizer has the toast number?
Oh yeah. I did not question that. I had no idea. I did not even question that. Thank you for bringing that up.
uh, but yeah, after that, the Turtles do go to see the pulverizer, and that's when they start to fight Dog Pound and Fish Face with the other Turtles' weapons, but they're losing but then they switch back and they start to win. What do you think of this scene?
Well, one, it was really, really funny just to see the turtles try out their different weapons and how Michelangelo almost stabbed Leonardo with his own swords, which was just, I'm not gonna lie, there's some funny sides to it, and then there's some dark sides to it, because if Michelangelo accidentally stabbed his brother with his own swords, then that wouldn't have gone down well. Let's just say that. But
Yeah.
just it was. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty. I was actually like, ooh. I was just sitting behind the screen myself, and I was just thinking, this ain't going well. I was like, please switch back to your original weapons. Just please switch back. And it was. I don't. How to explain this? It was kind of painful for me just to see them fail for once. Which, okay, you see them fail, but they always get back up again. But for this scene, it was a bit sad, to be honest, just seeing them struggle trying to use their own weapon, their own different weapons, and how to figure that out. I was like, please switch back, please switch back, and thank God they switched back. They fought off dog. They fought off the dog pound and the foot clang again, and all was bright and rain.
I have to say with this scene, I didn't really think too much of it. I enjoy the Turtles, like changing the weapons. It was like it did make the Turtles fight differently in a way. I never losing, but still they were still fighting differently, and I do think it did make the fight a little bit more fun and fresh in a way. But at the same time, I know that I was losing and all, and they didn't really learn how to use the weapons. But why didn't they just use their feet and hands? Because they could easily take them out because well they're well trained with that. And like a really good example was like even like when Raph got his size back, he went straight in and kicked 2 foot soldiers. So I don't really see the whole big problem with it all. So
Oh my
yeah.
God, yeah.
And then after that we have Pulverizer who reveals his name is Tim. Um and then he leaves. So what do you think of this name, and what do you think of his name?
I'm not gonna lie, it was it was something, like just seeing him reveal his own name. Like it's not the Pulverizer, it's Timothy. I was going more along the lines of Thomas or something like that, but Timothy, yeah, it's I thought it would have been cool if it was Thomas
Or
or like a
Roger?
Brad. Sorry.
Or Roger for Roger Craig Smith?
That could have been good. Yeah, Roger for Roger Craig Smith. That would have been a good one. But it was yeah, it was I don't have many words to say about this. It was like it was surprising enough to figure out his real name, Timothy, and just revealing it all. And of course, he's I'm still trying to get over the fact that he's part of the Foot Clan, and I don't know how, but you know they use him as cannon fodder, which was kind of funny because he's the perfect guy for it. Like he's the perfect guy to go in, get the traps sorted, and because he'll be he'll be yeah, he's just used as cannon fodder, which I found really funny. But yeah, finding out his name, it wasn't. I don't think it was a great scene for me, for myself. Really, I just thought, oh, okay, his name's Timothy. Sure, his name could have been a bit better, like Brad or Roger for Roger Craig Smith to incorporate him. But overall, it was a scene that was tolerable and was a decent scene at that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't really have too much to say about this scene. I just feel as though this whole episode was just gonna be grasping at things to really give compliments about. And I thought like this scene was like it was okay and somewhat decent. I don't really know why he was put on a deep voice to say that his real name is Timothy and all that. The one thing which I do have to question about it though is why doesn't he have his mask back on? He took it off to reveal himself, and then he's never put it back on. I mean, his whole costume will give himself away to the foot.
I don't understand that.
But yeah, the Turtles go back to the lair using their weapons, and that's when Spider or when no, not Spider-Man, Splinter takes their weapons away, and tells them you have to like use whatever you have or no weapons at all. Um, so quickly, I want to say here is that because we know that in the next or the next scene, they go after Pulverizer, and because he's about to get mutated and all. So in this scene, what if Shredder was actually there and he was the one who made his sons go out and fight Shredder with no weapons and die? I just wanted to put that out there. He could have killed his sons.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that scene where he asked his sons to give up his weapons, knowing the fact that their sons would go into battle and potentially get injured or potentially worse, die due to the lack of knowledge of how to use other weapons and just in general, it's absurd to hear that. Like, the Ninja Turtles always have weapons. Like, it's just, it's just it's just there. The weapons are always with the turtles, and the turtles are always with their weapons. And just to see them without their weapons was very very strange and weird for me. It kind of felt like they were like stripped of their character a bit, like they were naked. It's like they were just not the turtles without their weapons. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, like they were losing like a part of their identity of what makes each character unique.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can't really argue with that. So one of the next scenes is basically Pulverizer saying that he's going to get himself mutated, but with him making like all those kung fu noises, going "Wow, hiya, hiya," it reminded me a lot of Kung Fu Panda, and it really makes me wonder if like if they did ever consider like having Jack Black as Pulverizer. I thought so he would make a really good
Oh
voice of Pulverizer.
yes. Yes, Jack Black as the Pulverizer. That would actually be more suiting for the Pulverizer's character, like his voice, his style, his whole character in general would be perfect for Jack Black. And of course, it would spare Roger Craig Smith from sadly being the Pulverizer, but yeah, that would be awesome. Jack Black as the Pulverizer and just seeing him, oh my god, that should become a thing. That
I
should
actually do
be
think he. I actually do think he would make like if they turn the show into real life. I think he would actually be like the perfect option for it. I mean, just like I mean, like appearance, the attitude or personality, attitude, everything about it. He's basically his pulverizer.
literally the Jack Black is the real life Pulverizer is the real life Jack Black.
Oh god. But yeah, after that, we do have the Turtles chasing down the Foot Clan in the Shell Razor, and Raptors takes down Fishface with the gun, but it makes the Shell Razor flip over. What do you think of this scene?
That was really interesting for me because we see how the Foot get around. Like, sure, we see the plain old black vans, but I really really like the design of the Foot Clan's motorcycles. Like, they've got the Chinese or
I
Chinese
think it's
banners, I would say.
I think it's Japanese because
Japanese.
yeah, I think that's Japanese.
Oh
Well,
my
let's
god, I
hope so.
feel well, let's hope so, because I'm butchering this culture at the moment. Um, well, basically, I really love the banners on the back of the motorcycles, and of course, the head of the motorcycle is a wolf. And that was just really awesome to see, and just seeing how the highlights of the motorcycle were done, and the cycles just looked really, really cool in general. Just seeing how the Foot get around on their motorcycles, it was just really, really cool to see how they just get around. Of course, the designs. Surely, I understand that. Of course, it's red, and of course, I thought they would have the Foot as their banner or like something to do with the Foot. But with these cycles, I believe that that was just perfect. Just I don't understand how I can express the amount of detail that they put in. Like, it was a well designed motorcycle, and I loved it.
Yeah, to say that the motorcycles, like I'd say, like I don't really like. I thought the motorcycles designs were like pretty cool, and I'm pretty sure this might be because if I remember correctly, this is actually the second mode of transportation across any like for villains really. Um, so I will say this: like, it does look really for like this version of Turtles. It does look really unique and really cool, and they do stand out compared to other vehicles such as like the Shell Racer. So I do think that does look really cool. The fight scene, I'm not too sure what it was, but I don't really have too much to say about it really. Like there's some fun stuff within the fight scene, such as Raph losing his head and Mikey thinking he's gone, but then it's not. But then it comes back, and then when Raph hits Fish Face off of the cannon, I enjoyed that, but I just don't think there's anything really there to really go. Oh yes, oh yes, I absolutely love this bit because this, and this, and this. But I thought it was a decent fight. If just fellas moved from one scene to another. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So yeah, then we do go into the next scene, which is where Pulverizer is trying to get himself mutated, and the turtles are fighting off all the bad guys with unique weapons, and then the Pulverizer gets mutated. So, what do you think of that fight scene?
Oh, this okay. I've been wanting to talk about this scene all night long, and I'm just gonna jump in right away. One, I love the scenes of Donnie bursting in on the motorcycle, just bursting in out of nowhere. Of course, he has no weapons, and of course, the broom is now his weapon. I just love how he was just so adaptive with the broom as a Ninja Turtle. Just seeing him fight off the Krang just with a broom, whilst the Foot Clan, sorry, are fighting with katanas and blades and all of that. They could have sliced through the broom, but somehow they didn't, which is really really weird. But just seeing them adapt so quickly. Sure, they learnt their lesson, but just seeing them how quick they adapt. Sure, they're ninjas, and of course they're supposed to adapt, but just seeing them adapt like that was just a real sense of okay, they're not messing around. These are Ninja Turtles. They know what they're doing. They finally got a grip of themselves, and now they're saving the day.
You have to say, look, I thought this fight scene was pretty weird. So with the Donnie versus basically everyone, it did feel as though it was a bit unrealistic. I know we've got turtles fighting dogs and fish. I can get past that, but it was just that when like Fishface kicked Donny, it seemed as though he went like halfway across the room. But then if you look at the actual room itself, he didn't really go that far. So it just seemed like they had a bit of like a proportion scale with just like how they angled some of the scenes. As it just did seem like Donny was just going like jumping like quite quite a distance. But with the Tails getting their their unique weapons, which was like a broomstick and the pipe, the little Bill was it wood, Michael got a chain. I thought it was like really cool to see the Tails like being unique and having a different like weapon and all that. But at the same time, it did feel as though a bit weird in a way because I mean, rather using the word that he didn't really do much of that. Mikey didn't really change too much as he's already used to fighting with chains. Donnie didn't really change too much. Leo had to hold back really because that fight could have done us so much damage. So as much as I really did enjoy it because of how different and unique the totals were able to get, it did feel as though like very weird for some characters and whereas others and yeah. But what do you think of Pulverizer's mutation?
I'm not gonna lie, this is the one thing that I've wanted to get out of this episode tonight is yes, no more Pulverizer.
No, he comes back for one more episode.
God damn it! You had to burst that bubble, didn't you, Teddy? You really had to just go there and burst my bubble. Like, Just let me be happy.
Well, no, I mean, on the bright side, he doesn't speak anymore.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's a positive, but just seeing his mutation, and it was really, really weird because he volunteered to go through with the experiment and he wanted it so, so much. And it was just so, so weird. A part of me saying, why are you doing this? You're crazy. You have no idea what you're doing. And then the other part of me was saying, yes, do it. Please, just do it. If you become like a mutant, maybe your character would actually be good. And maybe you would turn into a badass character and change this whole episode around. But to my great sadness, yeah, it didn't go to plan, and of course now he's a I to be honest, I don't know what he is.
Yeah, I have no idea either because when you look at previous mutations, they always change into what the touch lasts. I know I can remember, there was one mutation. I can't remember where it was a few weeks ago. We was talking about where like it mutated, but didn't have anything to mutate. But didn't, it was mutating with something else, but I can't remember what it was. Um, but this one, it didn't touch anything. So I'm not too sure what it was, and even afterwards, I'm still not exactly too sure what it was because it's like a slug. I want to say, but at the same time, that feels incorrect because you can see the inside of him.
Um, yeah. To be honest, the weird, crazy thing about it is he reminds me from the slime from Hotel Transylvania.
Oh, it was reminding me a bit more of was it that monster film, the early 2001, where it was a blue slime thing with one eye.
Bob
Yeah, I think that's the movie.
from
And then Monsters versus something.
Monsters versus Aliens. Yes,
Yeah, that one.
a
That was,
classic.
yeah, I've not watched that movie yet, but like it reminded me a lot of of the blue one.
Mm. Yeah, but Bob was actually an alright character. His character was awesome compared to the Pulverizer.
Yeah, I must
And
admit, I
just
do.
referring to Bob and the Pulverizer, it's just shameful.
Yeah, I must admit, I do like the fact that you can like see the insides of him. I do think that was like a unique thing for his mutation compared to like all the other ones.
Hmm, definitely. I was a bit grossed out by you could see his brain, his eyes, his like lungs. Like as a kid, if I was watching this, and I would probably be very freaked out by it. But now that I'm older and I love that sort of stuff, I'll be like, oh, okay, it's all right. But as a kid, I'll be absolutely terrified of that.
Yeah, it does make it does make him like stand out quite a lot, and I do think that will just work well in his favor. But yeah. So after that, we got Vitel's. Who takes him home. Do you have anything to say about getting him out of the building, or because I don't really have anything to
Um,
say about that.
well, it was a bit weird how the turtles did it because usually after mutation, the um the person who's been mutated has resemblance and has some of his humanity left. Sure, like Leatherhead when he was mutated from a crocodile or an alligator. I'm not too sure what breed of animal he is, but we'll move on. But just seeing him lose his humanity and then gain it back, like every other person that's been mutated, such as Dog Pound, Fish Face, they've all retained their humanity. Unlike Pulverizer, sadly, he didn't retain any humanity, so he was just like a lifeless killing blob that just goes around.
Yeah.
It was weird to say the least.
Oh yeah. I was just looking at notes, and there was two things I had to say about him. Okay, so first off, why is he evil all of a sudden? He was one who wanted to get mutated, and when he looks at himself in the reflection of the window, he just starts attacking all the turtles for no reason. And I'm not too sure. why? Just seems really out of character for him. Like, why now is he attacking the turtles? And
Yeah.
then the second thing is when he's doing something to a box, he has acid on the box, but on that box he has a bomb. Shouldn't the acid have burned into the bomb and set the bomb off, or am I being stupid here?
Yeah. No, no, no. You're right. I think that should have. Yeah, because if the acid dissolved into the explosive would be set off. And I just don't get it. Unrealistic. Unrealistic.
Again. But yeah, afterwards, the turtles do take him home, and they're just talking, saying that Pulverizer got his wish, and Tonic is able to keep him. Do you have anything to say about that?
Um, I have several. One, why do we want to keep a um I don't know what it is. A blob? Let's just say a blob for now. I'm gonna just describe Pulverizer as a blob. Just like one, why do we want to keep a blob? Two, where are you gonna keep it? Three, do you need to feed it or water it? I have no idea. And yeah, I'm not too sure. It was really difficult to try and give a full analysis of that scene because I do not really know what to say. They've got a giant blob in their living room. What are they gonna do with it? It's like a little pet for them now. And sure, the Shredder's got the little Krang as his pet. Now the turtles have got the Pulverizer as their pet. So I guess it kind of adds up. I guess I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean with this scene, so first off, Shredder's saying basically going over saying, oh yeah, they're just gonna push our work back, like quite a while. But the thing is, they didn't really lose too much. All it was just a building and a little bit of mission, which they can easily gain back. So they didn't lose too much progress.
No.
And then the other thing was that I was like, afterwards this bit Krang's like oh yeah oh yeah oh yeah we finally have something to agree on. Why only now is Shredder and Krang working together? I did because at first I throughout this episode I thought it was weird why the Krang and the Foot Clan were fighting, and it's a shame that we don't get to see that on the screen. But I thought they were working together before that, so that seems a bit weird.
Hmm. I
But
did find that weird as well.
yeah. But yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this episode?
Um. Overall, this episode wasn't the greatest episodes to watch, and of course, it could have been laid out a bit better to make it more different, and a variety of different things could have been made better about this scene. I mean, this episode in general, but overall, the episode was all right. I wouldn't say this would be my top 10, unlike other episodes that we've had, but it was one of those episodes that needed to be filled in as such, like a filler episode. But now I'm I really have no words to describe this episode. But I must say one thing. I must get this off my chest. Yes, Pulverizer is not going to be able to mess up anything else for the turtles. It's going to be smooth sailing from here. Sure, he's a blob. You're going to have to keep him in your basement or something. Who cares? But he's not going to affect the turtles anymore. And that is just a major thing that I'm taking away from this episode.
uh, I think this episode overall was definitely like a big improvement from Pulverizer's first episode. So much. But
Hmm.
I do think this episode overall was okay let down from previous episodes, but it wasn't. I don't think it's as bad as I was remembering it, but it still was a letdown compared to the other ones. Yeah. Okay, so you want to hear some comments?
Let's hear him.
Okay, so this week is a pretty weak one just because I didn't really put this one out. I wasn't really promoting this one too much just because I'll explain afterwards. But yeah, there's only one comment by Alexandra Sensu. Um, and basically, I said in the post saying that I did feel a tad bit sad for Pulverizer for his mutation, a little bit. And they replied back with, sad, they had it coming 5 miles away. Those teens had a hard time without babysitting a moron like him. He saw his candle this time and got what he deserved. Um, good. What a waste of space this guy was. He had to somehow learn that every action has consequences. This was the perfect way.
Well, goddamn.
Yeah, I
That
feel like it sums up perfectly well.
wow, yeah, geez. That guy just summed up this episode entirely. Wow. Jeez, I don't know
Yeah,
what to say. My guy, he just
the only
wow.
comment we need.
Yep, that just sums up this episode. Thank you. Thank you, Alexander.
Okay, so you don't hear some trivia?
Let's hear it.
Okay, it is revealed that Pulverizer's real name is Timothy. I don't believe that is trivia. That is.
Yeah, I don't think that's trivia worthy.
The monster on the front of Mikey's comic book bears a strong resemblance to the original Mutagen Man. Mutagen Man is basically this. Uh, is a creature or mutant that has a lot of mutagen in him, and you can see his guts, which is basically what Pulverizer turned himself into. So I do think that's quite cool, like having a little reference to the original. Um,
Yeah.
the sound effect that when Donnie discovers the coins on the Foot Clan is the same coin collecting effect from several games in Super Mario Bros. Series of video games. Um, Additionally, the sound effect that plays when Mikey smiles, nods, and gives a thumbs up to Donnie when he receives a text message, the Pulverizer in the same sound played when booting up a Game Boy or Game Boy Color. Both Mario and Game Boy are Nintendo properties. Oh my god, Game Boy games.
Oh my gosh. Game Boy.
Oh,
I don't. Did you have a Game Boy when you were growing
yeah,
up?
yeah.
You had a
I
Game
had 12
Boy. Oh my
games.
god. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Now I remember the Game Boys. Oh
Oh
my
god,
gosh.
they were the best.
I think I had one. I think my dad had one, and it was really really old, but it still worked, and I played Tetris on it for a while. But
Oh god, yeah, plenty.
those were
Oh,
the good old days. I'm just
yeah,
saying that now.
yeah. That was basically like the modern equivalent of like a DS or like a Nintendo Switch,
Mm,
but it was
yeah,
everything really.
they were good. I
That
could just see it now. The audience is going to be like, "What the hell's a Game Boy?" And they're going to look it up and it's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I don't know why we're sounding like a bunch of boomers right here, right now, but I don't care. The Game Boys were the head of their time. They were our childhood.
I
They were our childhood.
Yeah, no, I don't have to say that. Like, the Game Boy games and as well as the machine, I say it does still hold up to to a point. I'd say. I mean, some of the games now are good, but don't really have that playability factor. You just keep playing it over and over again, like with the Game Boy. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that was the machine back in the day.
Mm,
Oh, back
yeah.
in
And
my
of
day.
course, well, back in your day, yeah. God, you sound old.
Yeah. Donnie shows that he actually cares about Timothy, despite him not listening to Donnie about the mutagen. Again, there's not really trivia. Donnie
Yeah.
attempting. This is actually a quite interesting one. Donnie attempting to fight with Rash size is a reference to the original Timothy cartoon, where Rob Paulson voiced Raphael. I thought that was quite cool, but wouldn't really say, I don't know if that's like a reference or not, because it sort of is, but sort of isn't in a way. Because you can more or less just say that if like another character or another person voiced another character and using the weapon, you could say that sort of reference. But is it
Mm.
really? It's sort of, I don't know really, because I definitely had that
Hmm.
in mind. Okay, so for the cast, um, we had Clancy Brown voicing Dog Pound, Rob Paulson voicing Donatello, Christian Lans playing Fishface, Jason Biggs voicing Leonardo, Greg Sykes playing voicing Michelangelo, Sean Astin voicing Raphael, Timothy slash Pulverizer played by the legendary Roger Craig Smith,
Mm-hmm.
um, Nolan North voicing the Krang, Kevin Michael Richardson voicing Shredder, and Hoon Lee voicing Splinter. So yeah, I think I think have you done all these actors before? Have you done Hoon Lee
Um,
before? I don't think we've
I
done
don't.
Hoon. You know, let's do Hoon Lee.
Yeah, let's do Humley.
Okay, so Hoon Lee was born 19th of July 1973. He's 49 years old. He's an actor. He's been in TV shows such as Law and Order and White Collar, and has a small role in the movie We Own the Night. In the 2012 show, he voices Splinter, uh, and as well as in the games as well. He was in. This is actually a really interesting fact. So in the next version of the TMNT show, Hoon Lee comes back and he voices the Shredder, which this is amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
No
it.
way.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting with that. Rise is just a really fascinating show. So many like references and stuff like that. Because there's one character who comes in later in the show, who's like friends with Karai, and she goes into the Rise of Timothy and voices Karai, which is really cool. Um, and like there's quite a few people from this show, from this version of Told, goes on to voice in the Rise of Timothy. Like most of the people who voice the Tolls in this show go on to do like a little mini group type thing, and people use basically use it as a little reference or way to basically say, "Oh, 2012 reunion." It wasn't, but like it's still cool nonetheless. But yeah, when do you get to Rise, you're gonna be like, oh my god, they got that person that did that thing. Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Humley is that's awesome. I just didn't know that he went back and played a Splinter. That's pretty cool.
yeah. Then there's like one character who he does the voice of a villain in the show, and then goes on to does the voice of Splinter in the next show, and surprisingly, he does the voice of Bugs Bunny now.
What?
Yeah.
Hold up. So you're telling me Humley that plays as Master
Oh
Splinter?
no. Okay, no. Okay, okay. So this other actor called Eric Bowser, he comes into this show, and he plays a villain. He goes on to do the next Turtle show. He plays Splinter, but he also does the voice of Bugs Bunny. How amazing is
Okay,
that?
that's pretty cool. Bugs Bunny. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get much more famous than that than Bugs Bunny.
Nah, Bugs Bunny. Like Bugs Bunny is our guy. Like Bugs
Yeah.
Bunny. Come on. If no one knows who Bugs Bunny is, go and find
Oh,
out. Go
everyone
and
does.
watch him. I hope so. I really do. But to those in the audience that don't know, look him up. Bugs Bunny will change your life.
As well as Game Boys as well.
Yes.
But yeah. Okay, so for next week's episode, it's called Paras Parasita? Parasita?
Parasita. Are you
I'm
saying
pretty sure.
parasite or parasita? I'm not too sure.
I'll spell it out. Parasitica.
Parasitic?
Yes, that is the word.
Parasitic. Um, I parasitic. Right, let's break this down. So, parasite, parasite. So something to do with a parasite, I guess.
You are
So
correct.
there's going to be, yeah, I think there's going to be an outbreak of a parasite that is going to plague New York, and the turtles are going to have to step in and get involved with it. Potentially the parasite could be a spy that has woven their way into the turtles and potentially been a parasite and causing disruptions between the brothers, causing them to turn against them. That's like a wild scenario, but it's on the table. Um, I think I'm going to lock in my final answer, which is there's going to be a parasitic outbreak in New York, and the turtles are going to have to go deal with it. That's my final answer.
You're quite close, actually. Yeah, no, yeah, you're actually quite close. Like, it's not as big or, I mean, the episode overall is not as big as like how you're making it out to be, but like, you're more or less spot on again. Well done.
Yes, yes, that's another one.
Yeah, no, I must admit, I do think next week's episode is going to be really interesting, just because of one particular scene, and I mean, this is sort of the bigger problem with the podcast. I really wish I could be like there watching the episodes with you, just so I could see your reaction. Just because there's one particular scene that I really want to see your reaction to. um,
Oh, is it that good then? I've got high hopes for next week's episode. Hopefully we
it's
can
one of
go
those like
past this.
it's one of those things that is jaw dropping because you can't believe that just happened type of situation, or it seems.
Ooh, okay, okay, you got me excited for it now.
Yay! But yeah, do you have anything else to say about this?
Well, this episode was something to watch, and it wasn't up in my top 10, but it was an overall decent episode to watch overall, so it was all right.
Yeah, I'd say this episode was an improvement from the first Pulver episode, but it still suffered because of Pulverizer. But
Sadly,
yeah.
yes.
But yeah, this has been. No. Hang on. If you want to go onto the podcast, you can leave a voice message on Anchor or leave a text message on Anchor. You can leave a comment in the community tab on YouTube, leave a YouTube comment on the video, or you can go over to Reddit and comment on the post which will put up there. But yeah, this has been another episode of Talking Tales. I've been your host Teddy,
I've been Hayden.
and we'll catch you all next time. Goodbye, yo, bye.
Bye.